This is the BMW K1300R. It's a bike that's kind of disappeared from the spotlight, but it might just be one of the most underrated bikes I've ever ridden. It's fast, it's weirdly refined, and it's got more torque than some modern day superbikes. And yet barely anyone talks about it today in 2025. So today we are taking a look at this forgotten beast. What makes it special, why it stands out, and whether it holds up almost a decade later.
What you're looking at is the wildest naked BMW of its era, the K1300R. Built with a 1293cc inline-4 that puts down 173 horsepower and 140 Nm of torque. That's not just quick, that's warp speed. It's got a shaft drive, so no greasy chain maintenance, and BMW's signature Duolever front suspension that looks like it came off a spaceship. Quirky? Sure. Effective? Absolutely. The whole bike weighs in at 243 kilos wet, which sounds heavy until you feel just how fast it gets out of its own way. And trust me, it moves. With a quick shifter, slipper clutch, and optional electronic suspension, back in the day, this thing had more tech than most bikes do now. You could be forgiven for forgetting it exists though. It was never sold in the US and is a bit of a unicorn. But after spending time with one, you'll wonder how it ever faded from view. I mean, just listen to this.
I also want to take a second to thank our friends over at Team Moto Kawasaki in Bowen Hills. They are my local motorcycle dealership. If you're in the market for a new or used bike, make sure to check them out and tell them I sent you.
Now, if you'd have asked me about a week ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell you very much about this motorcycle. The BMW K1300R was never really on my radar. In fact, I don't think it was on many people's radars at all. It kind of flew underneath. It flew very quickly though. I'm not really sure whether or not to call it a power naked or a sports tourer, but one thing I am sure of is that this thing has got some serious grunt. The 1273cc inline 4-cylinder pumps out 173 horsepower and 140 Newton meters of torque. To just put that into perspective, the Kawasaki ZH2, one of the most powerful nakeds on the road, that pumps out 137 Newton meters. This actually makes more torque than a ZH2. That's wild. Another interesting fact is that when this came out, it was actually the fastest accelerating naked motorcycle you could buy. A 0 to 100 time of only 2.8 seconds. Right, so not only is it wickedly powerful and fast, but it's also got some really interesting suspension. Instead of the typical for today fork suspension that you have at the front, you've only got a single shock. You've also got electronic adjustability, which for the time it came out was a pretty big deal. On top of that, it isn't even a chain-driven bike. It's actually shaft drive, which is not something you really see today. It's kind of like the further you dig into this bike, the more unique it gets. So it's got all of these interesting things about it. It's super quick and powerful, and yet, besides maybe a few enthusiast forums, nobody really talks about it. And I don't think that's quite right. So today, we're going to give it its moment in the sun. While we're going a bit slower, let's talk about the ergos a little bit. So far, this is a very comfortable motorcycle. It is very large. I think it's the mid 240s in weight, and you know, you definitely do feel that when you're sort of going a little bit slower. But in corners like this right now, it's very easy to handle and maneuver. It's only really when you're at a standstill that you can feel the heft. The rider ergos are really nice as well. I'm pretty upright. The handlebars are really wide and just a little bit stretched forward, so you know, when you are ready to unleash that mountain of torque that you're harboring, you're ready to hold on. You know, I mentioned that this thing has got quite a few electronics on board, and for the time it came out, this one's a 2016 model, they were quite advanced. On this model, you've got heated grips, you've got a quick shifter, which is up only, you've got electronically adjustable suspension and switchable ABS too. Speaking of ABS, so far the brakes have been pretty phenomenal considering the amount of weight that they're stopping there. Look at this. Whoa, they bite. They're not like crazy sharp, but there's just so much stopping power ready for you. All right, this GoPro is wiggling around all over the place, so I may lose it here. This thing feels fantastic to be on right now. Oh God, don't fucking go on me. During the sharper corners, it can really sort of hold its own, but I think on a longer sweeper like these, that's where it really feels at its best. All right, you're switching spots because I don't trust it there. I feel like it's gonna fall off. There's just something about a big bore engine when you're revving it from a low RPM. It's got that nice deep grumble in it. God, it just feels so at home here, just munching through those corners. All right, heading back now, and we still have to test a couple of things, most notably the quick shifter. Okay, ready? Oh, buddy, old pal. Huh. All right, so there is more than enough power on this thing than you will ever need. The motor on this thing, the way that it spools up, it's like a jet engine. And look, there's no way I'm going to be able to use all that it has to offer here. You're going to need a really long straight to do something like that. Now, I know I've been singing this thing's praises, but of course, just like all bikes, it's not perfect. There are some things that I'm not a fan of on here, but thankfully, they are minor. The first thing is the indicator switch. It's not as bad as, say, the KTM 1290 Super Duke, but it is sort of similar in the way that you don't have all that much tactile feeling through it. Tactility? I don't know, is that a word? Let's look it up. Probably not. You know, going from side to side, it's quite a small, shallow movement, and there's no click. There is a click when you push it in, but I just wish it was a little bit more. And other than that, first and second gear, they can be a little clunky. If you're on your game with the throttle and, you know, sort of control it, that sort of eliminates most of that, but it's not as smooth as going up and down gears on bikes today. You know, as mentioned, not a huge deal. Let's try that quick shifter again. We'll just slow right down. Ready, and quick shifter is smooth as, very good. Honestly, I reckon it's just a really underrated bike. It can handle corners better than you're expecting. And I mean, look at this profile of the bike that I've got now. Look how skinny it is. It's like a shark just designed to cut through. God, it's good.
Right, well, out on the road, this thing absolutely hauls. The engine is phenomenal. It pulls like a freight train and gives you more power than you'd ever need. What surprised me most though was how composed it feels. It handles well, brakes are strong, and even with the size and weight, which there is a lot of, it's really stable in the corners. Sure, you feel the bulk a bit at a stop, but on the move, it's smooth, refined, and planted. And yeah, I mean, the looks are a bit divisive. You either love it or think it's a bit of a bruiser. Personally though, I just think it looks tough, and that front end adds to the uniqueness of the bike. It's also got a ton of interesting quirks. That suspension, the shaft drive, the fact that BMW never really replaced it with anything similar. I think it is a brilliant long distance option, and honestly, probably one of the most slept on big nakeds of the last 15 years. If you can find a clean one secondhand and you're after something fast, comfy and unique, the K1300R might just be it. But there you have it, there's my review of the Beamer. If you do enjoy these reviews, please make sure to like and subscribe for all future videos. I know a big portion of you guys that watch these videos aren't subscribed yet, so what are you doing? Join the club. There's never been a better time to join because we have got a whole lot more coming up soon. But thanks for watching. Until next time, see ya.